So here we go. Tom Gump is ready to get you going. Tom is the past governor of Rotary District 5950 and a member of the Rotary Club of Edina, Minnesota. He's passionate about growing Rotary membership through forming new and innovative cause-based Rotary, Rotaract, and satellite clubs. Tom founded the first ever Rotary Club to serve veterans and co-founded the world's first Rotary Club to end human trafficking. He helped form the Rotary Club of Network for Empowering Women and the Kaleidoscope Rotaract Club to serve those with autism and their families. Tom also helped form the Rotaract E-Club for the environment. He was named a Zone 29 Innovative Club Advocate and serves as Zone 29 Assistant Rotary Coordinator for Membership. At this time, please help me welcome Tom Gump as he relates how Rotary International President Shekhar Mehta changed the concept of membership and provided Rotarians with the direction and motivation we need to grow Rotary. Tom.
Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. You know, it's so great to be here with all of you. I recognize a lot of you from Midwest Pets and from the wonderful membership summit you had last October. And you know, the best thing about Rotary is the friendships we make. And last night when Kyle was talking about close your eyes, and he made us all close our eyes and imagine what the perfect Rotary experience would be. So I've kept trying to look into the future and do what Kyle was telling me to do. But I kept remembering last Saturday night when I was at the Nook with my friends. Last Saturday was my birthday. So my friends at my club, we went out to a burger place in St. Paul called the Nook, and then we all went to the Minnesota United game, and it was super fun. So when I come back here, I feel like you make me feel like I'm part of the group, so thank you so much. So when you speak at these things, people ask you to speak on different things. Maybe, how do you bring in new members, or how do you start a new club? But I was trying to follow the directions I was given, which is explain all of membership in 20 minutes. So, so if I sound like an auctioneer, that's why. But I really liked the challenge because it made me think about what Rotary is all about and what membership is all about. And if you think about it, when you boil it all down, membership's pretty simple. There's only 3 ways to grow Rotary. And trust me, we think about this a lot if you're any kind of in membership capacity of any kind. So what's the first way to grow Rotary? I'll take hands. I might not be able to see them because of the light, but I'll take them. Yes? Invite them. That is so important. That's the first thing to do is invite them. And you know, it's funny. When I was trying to figure out what people want to hear, you know, I asked Tom Guyette, I said, what should I talk about? He goes, oh yeah, whatever you want to talk about. Then I asked Judy, what do you want to talk about? And what should I talk about? And she said, whatever you want to talk about. So then I made the mistake of asking the wonderful Governor Bear, what should I talk about? And she said, and I have 3 older sisters, one's a twin sister, so I'm used to taking orders, so I take orders really well. So, of course, she begins to tell me how in her club recently, they were playing a Tom Gump video. And she said, talk about that time you were rejected. You know, and you kept on getting rejected. And I was like, wow, I usually don't go in public and talk about all the times I'm rejected. But it was a point where I think that video must have been, Karen, when they were talking about you have to ask. And that goes back to your point. And you have to ask. And I always say, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid of rejection. I've asked a lot of people. They become friends. But it made me think, Karen, the way that started was I wanted to join Rotary back in 1996. I was assistant district attorney in Georgia. And my boss, she was in the Rotary, and I thought that would be perfect. Well, they wouldn't let me in because they had the law enforcement classification already spoken for. So for 13 years, I didn't join Rotary. So I was blessed to have this neighbor. We were working out together a few times a week, and every day we'd work out. He said, you have to come to Rotary. You have to come to Rotary. So I gave a bunch of excuses because I didn't want to be rejected again, right? So after about 24 times of asking me, I went, and I loved it. I was hooked. I had more friends in the neighborhood, and you know, I'd go to the grocery store and know more people. It was really fun. But so that's really important. We really need to do that. What's the second way to grow Rotary besides asking and bringing new members? Yes, sir. Tom?
Keep them.
Keep them. You have to engage them. You know, you have to, like Kyle was saying last night, you have to have fun and you have to keep them involved to do those service projects. And what's the third way to grow?
Form new clubs.
Yes, you have a brilliant district governor. Form new clubs. Even though she makes me publicly humiliate myself, she's still wonderful. And you're right, Karen, if you look at 96, when I first tried to join Rotary, the average club size was just over 60. Now today it's just under 30. But why have we stayed at that 1.4 if you include Rotaractors? It's because we form new clubs. So we're going to talk about the most important parts of these things. So, but we're going to do it in an organized way because this conference has been very good and your governors wanted to make sure that we, do homage, give honor to our current president. And our current president did great things for Rotary in terms of membership. So who can tell me what was his slogan for this year for membership? Each one bring one. And you know what? That's a brilliant, brilliant slogan, and it's a brilliant campaign. Because it takes the idea of a membership team being of just one person, or worse, committee. We usually don't use the word committee, we like to use the word team. Of just one person with a couple helpers, it makes all of us part of that team. We all have to do it. So it turns that concept on its head. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to talk about our RI president-elect, Jennifer Jones, and her take on membership. So we're going to talk about the three areas, but we're going to organize it, what we're doing now, what we're going to do in the future. So, attraction strategies. So, Shaker Meta's Each One Bring One's about attraction. It's bringing people in. So, when you think about why people join, all you have to do is look at the surveys. What the surveys show is people want to do community service, international service, local service. Local service is the #1 reason people join Rotary. And friendships. A lot of people leave Rotary, unfortunately, and they leave 10% leave within the first year that they join. And then in the first 3 years, 52% leave. So why do they not leave after that? It's because of the way you make me feel when I come here. Tom, I went down to lunch or breakfast yesterday morning. I was about to have breakfast by myself, and Tom came up and said, "Hey, do you want to have breakfast with me?" That's why people stay, because we have those lifelong friendships. But we have to keep them in Rotary for the first 3 years, right? So they're also looking for professional connections, for networking. A lot of people join for that reason. Rotaractors join for that same reason. They want to rub shoulders with people of significance in their industry. They want to advance, and Rotary could help them do that. And a lot of times people join for one reason, and they stay for another reason, which in our case is service. So back to your brilliant answer, 85% of Rotarians join because someone asked them. How many joined because somebody asked them? Yeah, so most of us. And the same is true with Rotaractors. Although Rotaractors, it's usually family members that ask them to join. So can anyone tell me the #1 reason people leave Rotary? Burnout, that's one of them, yeah. Yes? They're not engaged, right. So when we did the last survey, Rotary International, they said the #1 reason people leave is because they don't feel comfortable with the environment. So we have to make people feel welcome. Luckily, 82% of our Rotarians feel welcome. 77% of our Rotaractors feel very welcome in the community. So in Rotary, it's like any other business. We're delivering a product. And that product is the club experience. So we have to make sure that when we promise a club experience when someone's coming in, we deliver that. And for our current members, we have to make sure that they're happy with it. So things that we can do, we could have a variety of service projects. You could have local projects, international projects, youth service projects. We have to have fun social events, and you all prove that you can do that. And there's a pub crawl tonight, so I'm sure that'll continue. And we'll all look out for each other. Professional development is very important. People join Rotary for that reason. Leadership development. And I can tell you who are laughing in the audience are the ones we have to most look out for tonight. So, our current president, Shaker Meta, he said that he never had a leadership position until he was president of Rotary. And he used to be afraid to speak in front of people, like I'm sure many of us, I know I was, before Rotary, brought it out at me. So Rotary can do those things for our people. Mentoring goes both ways. We have to learn from our younger people, too. It's not just our younger people learning from us, especially in areas of public image and things like that. Networking opportunities are always important. We want to be able to pay our Rotary bills, right? And give to the foundation. And family-friendly activities are important. A lot of us, we talk about it, but we don't really do it. And it's so easy to take one of your 4 meetings a month and just have a picnic outside if the weather's nice. Bring some Frisbees, bring some balls, do bingo. Have the kids join you. Have your friends join you. So, each one bring one. Now, when this first came out, people were saying, oh, that's difficult. It's going to be really, really hard for everyone to bring one. But then we started seeing it happens. You know, this is a Facebook post that was just a few weeks after the year started, and each one brought one. You know, the other objection that we heard was, well, you know, you're focusing on quantity, not quality. Well, I disagree with that, because what he's asking us to do, we got 62 more days left to do this. You can do it after 2, but he's asking us to find one person. So find the person who is the best for your club, best fits with the culture of your club. So we don't have to each bring in 5 or 6 people. We can bring in the one person that fits the best with our club. So it is focusing on quality. So the other thing, that was the direction he gave us. Go bring people. Each one bring one. Well, how did he motivate us? He motivated us through this membership society. You know, if you give $250,000, we honored people on Thursday night. Karen Hendricks and her husband for giving $250,000. Their faces will be etched in glass and put on a wall. Well, Shaker wanted to do the same thing or similar thing for membership. So now we have a virtual membership society where if you bring in 25 individuals into your club, you get a letter from RI asking if you want to be part of this society. And there's different levels of society. Now, I'm sure with the COL and their changing of what's a referral and what's a member ask, maybe they'll start doing referrals. Right now, it's just members into your club, not referrals to other clubs. But Rotary International, you know, our director-elect, Pat, always tells me, Tom, Rotary's smart. And Rotary is smart. And now that I know that they'll be doing things to change membership, to keep on keeping us active. So engagement. We brought them in, now we have to engagement. So when we asked what's important for attraction, we asked, why do people join Rotary? So now when we talk about engagement, like Tom said, keeping them, we ask, why do they leave? And we try to prevent them from leaving. So a lot of people leave because of the time, excessive cost, unmet expectations. Again, we're not delivering the value that we thought they would. Rotaractors are the same, except they also leave because they feel that they're at an age where they'd like to move up or move over to a Rotary club. So virtual meetings. We asked the question, if you went to virtual meetings and only stayed at virtual meetings indefinitely, would you leave? And so we had a certain percentage of people who said, yes, I would leave. But remember, these people, they came to an experience which is a traditional club, which meets in person. You know, our product is liked. Let's face it, during the pandemic, we lost about 1.5% of our people. If people didn't like the product we were delivering, they would have left en masse and blamed the pandemic and not come back. But there's certain things that we can do to tweak our clubs, reimagine those clubs, so that the people stay, they're excited about it, and they feel like it's a good place to ask their family and friends. So how do you know what to change? It's pretty simple. You do what we call an assessment. And Rotary has 6 different assessment tools. And you could Google them up, or you can go to My Rotary, and you could do Club Health Check. That's something we do for the board of directors. Or a membership survey, which is you can do for your members. But you don't have to get that complicated. If you have a small club of 20 or 30 people, you could pick up the phone and call people, find out what they like. It's that Mayor Koch in New York, remember, used to go around saying, how am I doing? How am I doing? Remember that? Well, that's what we have to do with our clubs. But if you think that the health check's too complicated, it's got too much wording, just do a Survey Monkey and ask things, do you like where we meet? Do you like when we meet? Do you like our service projects? Do you like those socials? Maybe an open-ended question about what can we do better? But it's funny because when you do these surveys, now how often should you do a survey? What do you think? Every 6 months? And that's a really good answer. Rotary, I'm sorry, I don't have any prize to give you. Luckily, I'm with friends, so I guess I can get by. Sorry. I'll bring prizes next time. But if I'm throwing in the bright lights, I might hit somebody. So Rotary says you should do one once a year. But when do you do it? Most clubs don't do surveys at all, right? But when they do it, when do they do it? When they're leaving, right. Do you think that's a good time to do it, when you're leaving? Oh, no, unless you do it in your club, don't answer that question. But no, because you can't do anything to change at that point. I mean, it's too late. And Rotarians are such nice people, they might not tell you the real reason they're leaving. So RI President-elect Jennifer Jones says we should do entrance surveys when they come in. I think that's a brilliant idea, because then you can change things. So what would you change? Well, you know, there's certain things that are easy to change, but let's look at our clubs, our traditional clubs, which I'm a part of, the backbone of Rotary. I would never leave my traditional club. I know it was mentioned that I start other clubs, and I've been asked to join other clubs, but I wouldn't. Though I really like these 3 districts, and I might join, but my district would kill me. So I'm staying put. But we meet our regular time and place. You know how it is. It's breakfast or lunch, Monday through Friday. Now, if you look at the new clubs, when do they meet? They meet, you know, middle of the week at night, usually online, or on the weekends. So format. Most of us, how many of you meet 4 times a week, 4 times a month? Okay, most of us. Same with my club. I meet at 7:30 a.m. at a country club, our club does, every Tuesday morning. My wife meets at the same country club every Thursday afternoon. But you don't have to have 4 meetings. You could actually have as little as 2 meetings. And you know, the format of the meeting, it doesn't have to be business meetings. I mean, Rotarians do so many great things, and we know about it. But our friends, when we first talk to them, if you ask them what they think we do, they think, I go to the country club, Tuesday morning, eat breakfast, hear a speaker, and that's it. But we're not those people. We are those people, that's part of us, but we're people of action. We're influencers in our community. We're purpose-driven people. So how do we prove that? Change up the format. You could actually go to Rotary in the Workplace is what we do in our club. We go to someone's place of business. That goes back to the networking. It gives people what they want. We have a lady who runs an airport. She owns it. We took them up in planes and flew them around the Twin Cities. They had a great time. Yeah. But you got to bring coffee and you got to bring food. If they're used to getting that. But you could also go, we can go to the local food shelf and we could unpack those boxes, put them on the shelves. We could bake the banana bread. Whatever, you know, those organizations we serve, why not, you know, give them their due? Delivery, that's electronic. You know, we have a lot of clubs forming, and most of the clubs forming now are e-clubs, or at least have a partial component of e. There's also club models and their membership types. We're not going into too much in detail, but there's a bunch of different club models. And you can look at these club models, and if you go to the Learning Center, you can click on any of these club models and they'll give you examples. So, you know, a cause-based club. You know, we have veterans clubs, and we have end human trafficking clubs. We have clubs for homelessness. And you could take your club, and you could actually, you don't have to start a whole new club. You could tweak your current club by just adding one of these models to it. You know, we had a club in Texas that was a Toastmasters club, and they lost all its members. So we brought in a few veterans, and now it's a thriving club. And they have an Interact club with 50 high school students in it. So membership types. You know, we have to pay our RI dues, we have to pay our district dues, but your club dues are somewhat flexible. So if you have some young people, I heard a person speak yesterday, and she said they have a young group of 60 people. You know, they have friends. If you have those friends, allow them to join as an associate member where they can try out Rotary for a couple quarters or a year, and you just don't charge them those club dues. It might not seem like a lot of money, but that act of having skin in the game of the club, actually participating, helps. You could do that with a nonprofit that has one executive director, and maybe she can't make every meeting, but maybe somebody who works for her, you know, maybe he can. You could do that with young professionals. You could do it with corporations. You could do it with family members. And if you think that that's not fair, that they're paying a discounted rate, you could change your bylaws. There's a club in New York that doesn't allow those members to run for office. You know, there's different things you can do. So we brought them in. We engaged them. They're not leaving. We have one more thing that Karen wants us to do. And Jennifer Jones, our RI President-elect, she wants every district governor next year to form 2 new and creative clubs. So there's a few things that these new clubs do, and I'm just going to tell you them, and then I'll prove you that these are real reasons why. It grows Rotary quicker. It keeps and retains members longer. It attracts younger and more diverse people to Rotary. It makes Rotary more visible in the community, and it increases our opportunities to partner. Now, when you start a club, if you start a Rotary club, it takes 20 people. So you start a club, this is our network for empowering women. We added 50 people like that. It would take us a long time to invite 50 different members and get them to our current clubs. You know, it also retains members longer, especially if it's a cause-based club. I mean, there's no more motivational factor in the entire world than a cause. This is a picture of our Veterans Club. They're serving some people in the Afghan community. People drive over 2.5 hours to come to this club. You know how our traditional clubs are. You know, I drive 3 miles to my club. Some people, you know, eat lunch or eat breakfast where they work or where they live. But this is different. And, you know, and these are mission-driven people. They're perfect Rotarians. They never have just a blood drive. They always have to have a food drive and a clothing drive and everything else at the same time. More diversity. So what does my club do for service projects? We probably do a lot what you do. We pack food for the hungry. We rake leaves in the yards that people can't rake leaves. We pick up trash along the highway. May 8th is our next trash day. But if I go to a millennial and I'll say, join our club, you can pick up trash. You're right, it doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? Well, there's a couple things that these young people of action, these potential people of action want. First, they want to work in a diverse environment. They want to be with people who are different than them. They want to hear different thoughts. But they also want to have great impact, but they want to have great impact in one area, like serving the environment. So maybe, the diverse service project doesn't fit for them. So we can make a club that fits their needs, fits their schedules. So how do I know diversity works? Well, when I was district governor, we had a big push, and we wanted to add more female members into Rotary. We knew it was important to make our club strong, have better, diverse opinions. Well, we added 80 women to our district. So after that, I was trying to help our DG line repeat that. So what we did is we did an analysis, and we found out that most of those members came from 3 clubs. Our Eco Club had more than 50% females in it. Our End Human Trafficking Club had over 60% females. And then our Network for Empowering Women had close to 70% females. And we don't keep statistics on race and those kind of things, but we do on gender, so that's why I like to use this particular deal. So our RI President-elect, Jennifer Jones, it's going to be great when she's president, because that's easier to say than RI President-elect. She wants us to grow from 30 to 32% females in this next year and then keep it going from there. I tell you, this is how to do it, is to start new clubs. Because, to change our current clubs, you got to change the culture. And to change culture, I see Bill Pritchard, immediate past district governor, saying, no, 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 no. He's saying yes, 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 but he's saying no, no, no to changing culture. And why? Because to change culture, what do you have to do? You have to change people. And we all know changing people is hard. And we can do it. We can nurture them. We can give them other jobs to do. But when you start a new club, you're just accepting that culture the way it is. So we get more visible when we reach out in the community and we start these clubs. This club, the first club ever to work towards ending human trafficking, that's their goal. And I tell you, I wish I woke up one morning and I was a brilliant futurist and said, we need to start a club to end human trafficking. It wasn't anything like that. 3 people came to me and said, Tom, we're quitting Rotary. And you laugh because it's not your district. I was district governor. I had the pressure on. But we had a wonderful deal with the district to the east of us and district to the north of us, where for 2 years we were having summits. We had the U.S. Senator come in and do a video for us. But they said, Tom, you don't understand. We are not getting what we need out of Rotary. We're not getting that product. Because we talk about ending human trafficking out of our 68 clubs, maybe 3 clubs once a year. We don't get any global grants because they're not a club, right? They're not getting any district grants. So we said, start your own club. And what did they say? What did they say when you said start your own club? They said no because they thought it was hard. But it wasn't hard. It's easy. And if there's one thing you take away from this segment, there's a lot of people to help you. You got Rotary coordinators, assistant Rotary coordinators. You have Director-elect Pat. You have Brian King at RI. You have regional membership officers. You have me if you want me. Anybody else that would help, your district governor. And you don't have to do it on your own. You know, your district governor-elect has to start in 62 days finding 2 clubs for next year. Just give her or him the idea, and they could run with it. So, you know, it's interesting because after this club started, about 2 weeks after, we were inducting a woman from Turkey. I was all excited because we didn't have anyone in that club from Turkey. So about 20 minutes after the induction, I get an email from the then sitting Rotary International president, Mark Maloney, confiding in me that that was his sister we just sworn in. She didn't say it, and her name was Maloney, Erin Maloney, and she's a great member. And he told me that he had been trying to get her into Rotary for 40 years. 40 years. So why didn't she join? Well, she was in Turkey. She was teaching history, U.S. history. Well, she couldn't do it during the day, and she didn't want to work on a bunch of different things. She wanted to work on this particular issue. So what I'm telling you is, you know, we have 1.4 million Rotarians if we include the Rotaractors. Just think how many people are out there who are really Rotarians, but they just can't find a club that meets when they need to, or doesn't have the interest that they need to, or doesn't have the cause that they need to. So we can do it. Increased opportunities to partnership. This was another example of it's not hard to start a club. Is Karen Hendrick here?
Hendrick Hands, yeah.
Yes. So tell us about this club, Karen.
An amazing exchange student, Julia Cossell, went up to John Germ at a Rotary meeting, past president, and said, I think we exchange students should work on climate change through Rotary. And somehow or other she got networked to me. Some director told her she should start a Rotary action group for climate change. And I said, you're doing the heavy lifting, come with us. She worked together to form the Climate Solutions Coalition. They worked through COVID. Stress took lives away. Exchange student-centered college. And we still had some charged up Rotaractors, exchange students, and interactors who wanted to work on climate through Rotary. I was exhausted. Tom Gump and Steve Solberg on the SRAG board said, why don't we wrap your interest into a Rotaract club? And so they said yes and have pioneered a Rotaract e-club for the environment, cause-based, members from all across South America, Turkey, India, where else, Tom?
Mexico, South America, all over. So why were we able to do that? And how long did it take to form that, Karen?
They spent less time forming it than I spent trying to wiggle my way through Rotary youth protection policy.
Yes. So for those of you who couldn't hear, I'll translate. It took a few months. But see, the whole thing is we didn't have to do it on our own. I didn't have to start a club on my own. Steve didn't have to start his club. We had the help of Karen. So what did we do when we were trying to find members? We called Karen and said, Karen, in SRAG, the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, do you have any young people that want to get their hands dirty and do a project? Because you think about it, a Rotary Action Group, what do? They help advise on how to fund projects and do projects. But these young people want to get their hands dirty, and they actually want to go out and get the global grants. I mean, you know, so many times people come up to me and say, why should I pay Rotary dues? Why can't I just volunteer on my own? Well, Rotary lets you pick the project you want, lets you raise the money, do the project the way you want to. You know, where else can you do that? I love the Red Cross and every other 501c3 that's doing good work, but I want to be able to pick my projects and do my projects, and that's what these young people want to do. So let's give them the chance. Let them design their own club, and it doesn't have to be like our clubs. And there's different Rotary types of clubs. You have Rotary clubs and Rotaract clubs, and you have satellite clubs, and you have different club models. And we're not going to go into all of these, but you ever need any help with them, you know, we can help you with those. So what do all these things have in common? It's really pretty simple. They have a passionate champion, a spark plug, you know, someone who's going to go out and do something. You know, perfectionists, and I know all of us have a degree of that in us, we sit on the side and we wait to the perfect time to start. What a spark plug does, and there's a lot of Sparkies in here, I can tell. We go out and we start, and we perfect as we go. So find that person who wants to do something and help them. Camaraderie and friendship, that's what Rotary is all about. That's why we're here. And a shared desire to serve. Let's face it, if, you know, there's always this debate, are we a membership organization that does the best service in the world, or are we a service organization? We really are a membership organization, but what keeps us together and keeps our members active is that we're serving together. We all want the world to be a better place. We want to work with people who are similarly minded. And it starts with friends. And we all have friends, and people think when they're starting a club they don't have a lot of friends, but when they sit down and think about it, we all have a lot of friends. And also, it's very important to nurture any new club that we start. So when the district governors start their 2 new clubs, we should nurture them. The Learning Center has a new course, Nurturing New Clubs. It says it's 42% more likely a club is to survive if it's nurtured by another club. All different kinds of clubs to start. You have environment clubs, and we've talked about some of these. In Australia, they're starting 2 homelessness clubs. But really, any place that you can serve or that service needs, you can start a club. So that's all I got to say about that. So. Did I do 20? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom, for sharing your, oh no, stay. For sharing your wisdom with us, for inspiring us to take up that mission and use those sparks to start new clubs and continue to grow and engage our membership. Very inspiring. What a way to think outside the box this afternoon. In recognition of your service, we will make a contribution in your name to the Rotary Foundation Polio Plus Fund.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you.